You're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently from Jen Plessis, America's mortgage mastery mentor with over 37 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. Jen has been mentoring loan officers and realtors for over 15 years and speaking on stages across the globe. So settle in and get ready as Jen and her guests share their experience, passion, and strategies to help you crack the top producer code to reach new heights in your business. And now, here's your host, Jen Plessis, mortgage mastery mentor and head chick in charge of Kinetic Spark Consulting.
Okay. Whew. All right. So we got it together. We pulled ourselves together here. I want to take this opportunity to welcome our guest today, Mike Cuevas. I am so excited to have you here. I just had the wonderful pleasure of being on your podcast not too long ago. In fact, we're recording today, and I think it was released yesterday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Right? Is it Saturday?
Yeah, you came right on up, and it was just coincidentally timing.
Yeah, it was perfect. So your podcast is called the Real Estate Marketing Dude Podcast, which I absolutely we had a really good time. And I'm just happy to have you here doing a pod swap. And we're actually talking on election day.
Yes, crazy.
Woo! We were just having a little conversation about how that's all going to go today. So it'll be interesting. And we probably should talk about that today too. We'll talk a little bit about what your perspective on what you think will happen after the election. With the market and everything. But you are the founder of Referral Suite, spelled SWEET, because you want to have sweet referrals, right? Yes. And so I want to start off with the biggest thing that I remember from our conversation is that, in 2004, you had your best friend cheated on you. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think this is, and this happens to real estate agents, lenders, anybody in any referral-based business for that matter. Doesn't matter. It's the same sort of concept. But yeah, the story is I used to live across the street from a local tavern in downtown Chicago. And me and my friend did what 23-year-olds do at that time. We go and drink beers and eat burgers, right? And during that conversation, I remember it clear as day, is that he's like, "Hey, Mike, I just referred this really cute realtor a $400,000 listing today." Well, I'm just sitting there in front of him. I'm like, "Oh, really? Interesting." I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean? Hello, John, hello. Did you forget I'm in real estate? Like we talk about this every single day, like, and then we think that and he's like, oh, he goes, oh shit, dude. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
He just completely forgot. Right.
Yeah.
I went home that night, and this is a true story. I cried, literally cried, because it was so difficult at 22 years old to get started, yet alone like a $400,000 listing, like is $10,000 in commission at a 2.5%, which was like winning the lotto when you're 23 years old. You have $10,000 in your bank account. You're like, holy moly, I made it. Right. Yeah. So it hurt. But what I also realized, I'm like, holy crap, if my best friend forgot what I did for a living, then how many other people also forgot what I do for a living, and how you're going to survive in a referral-based business that way? Because I always knew real estate was a referral-based business.
Yeah. So you said referral-based business, and you and I, we talked about this on your show as well. That I am heavy on connections and referrals, heavy on that.
Yeah.
But how many people really think it's a referral-based business? Because what I see from lenders and real estate agents all the time is social media, AI, funnels, right?
Sure.
I see all of this stuff, and in fact, I was just a keynote speaker on a summit yesterday, and I was talking about this, saying, you guys, referrals have always been the way it's done for eons. It's been this way, and it will continue to be that way. And we can't forget about those referrals. But I think the easy path is, well, I'll just pay somebody, or I'll do my own social media. But of course, we know there's a problem with that, which we will talk about here in a minute, which is content. Which is funny because people don't do social media because they don't have content. They say it all the time, and yet they still had their flashlight is honed in on social media. And why isn't the flashlight honed in on referrals? So what do you think is the issue with referrals, and why people steer from them so much?
Yeah. I love the question. So social media is, people chase the shiny objects first and foremost, and then there'll be like a guru that'll come to the center of the stage with the newest, latest, and greatest email autoresponder that's ran by AI technology. And then all of a sudden, that magical button is supposed to be pressed, and all of a sudden, it's supposed to be just spitting out business. And unfortunately, that just, you know as well as I do, that just doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Now, social media is just a communication tool, guys. So it's not a lead generation tool. It's just another way to stay in front of people that you already know, because of social media. When people talk about, hey, I'm killing it on social media, I'm attracting so much business off of social media, they're not attracting that business from strangers. They're attracting them from people they already know, AKA relationships.
Yeah.
So
unless you're paying 10 grand a month to do some kind of weird advertising, and you're
you could run ads 100%,
but you're not getting return. Yeah.
Nothing's changed in the last 30 years on how people decide to hire their lender or their real estate agent. What's changed is the way they remember them, or the way they know them, or the way and why they hire them. And I believe that in today's day and age, 95% of the battle is top of mind brand awareness and personal branding. And I think that's true in any referral-based business. So the end of my story, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and then tell your story. Grant Cardone says that, it's not best anything, it's best known, right? He says it's always best known, never best. You could be the best at what you do, but if nobody knows who you are, you're not going to get the business. And I want to also highlight one other thing before you move on there, is that both you and I, talk about the know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And my know, like, and trust is a little bit different. And I'll just share it just real quick, which is people know what you do, but they don't know who you are. Therefore, they cannot trust you. So it's not, well, they know what I do and they like me because I wave when I see them at networking. So therefore, they should send me business. Well, there's a lack of trust because they don't know who you are. They know a title. But I love that you've added, remember. It's the know, like, and trust, but do they remember you? So yes. I think that's really, really powerful. And, and it's a reiteration of what I was just saying, too, is that we just, or what you were saying about the fact that we just don't remember them. Do they remember? And we have to constantly be dripping on them and stealing brain cells all the time. So, okay. So after this happened, obviously you were saying, I know what you did. You said that's never going to happen again.
Right. Start reading, attending seminars, going to webinars. Like, I don't even know if they had webinars back then. It was like 2012. No, it's 2002. They had webinars. We had books. I bought books and CDs. Yeah. $4.97 or $9.97 was the only price those things were sold for. But I bought everything I get my hands on, and learned marketing, to what it is, and it grew from there. But you're right. I want to go through the math on this, because like what we're talking about isn't like theory. People go, oh, I don't have a sphere of influence, or I don't have this. So like I always go off. I don't have enough
people. Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be a useful exercise for anyone listening to this today. The first question I ask people is like, all right, well, how many deals did you attract off of Facebook? Because let's be honest, everybody in real estate has a Facebook page, and if you don't, you're just losing business. I mean, 2024, you need a Facebook page at the bare minimum and an Instagram handle. And people usually say, oh, I got like 12 deals off of social media this year, right? And I'm like, I'm like crazy. I'm like, so you only got 12. So I'm like, how many deals did you miss? So I want you to go out and do this exercise. So here's the exercise. So go ahead and add up all your social media friends. All right. And then I want you to go ahead and add up all of the phone people or your contacts in your phone. Then I want you to go to the CRM and add all of the quote unquote relationships you have. And if you really break down marketing and top of mind brand awareness into the following, it's literally this simple. Now, collectively, 10 to 15% of people across the world, or at least the United States, move each and every year. 10 to 15%. Last year, that number averaged just over 10%. That means that 10% of all those friends that you're connected with on Facebook, the followers you're with on IG, the people in your damn phone, and the people in your CRM, the people you come across at your kids' soccer games on Sundays or Saturdays, they're moving this year, but most don't even know it yet. Some are going to lose their jobs. Some are going to get sick. Some are going to raise. Some are going to get relocated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 100% of them have a referral for you. So I don't know anyone that has less than 500 Facebook friends. And if they do, that means that just out of those 500 Facebook friends, 50 of them moved in the last 12 months. Now, the question is whether or not they use you. They're not all buyers and all sellers. Some are renting. Some aren't even local to your area. But the mathematics show that 10 to 15% of the population moves every year. Now, when you look up the stats at the National Association of Realtors, it's near 74%, I think, is the amount of people that hire the first person they come into contact with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like when we lose those deals once a year to little cousin Billy, the realtor who just got his license, that doesn't know anything better, doesn't know the difference between APR and an interest rate. And then Aunt Sue, the realtor, that doesn't even have a Facebook account. Why do we lose those deals? It's because one, top of mind brand awareness.
Yeah.
And then two, blood is thicker than water. The relationship will always trump the expertise.
Yeah. Well, it always will. Again, best known versus best, right? And that, yeah, that's always going to be the case. And, I find it interesting that everyone thinks that, we'll just keep going. It's sort of like that movie with the little fish and everything, just keep swimming, but at some point, you have to change your direction and figure out where you're going to go, right? Other than just going in that same direction over and over. So I love these, the statistics of this. And, there's a subsequent statistic to that 74%, let's use that one. It used to be 84 something, 83%, but 74% of people will use the first person they talk to. So there's another statistic, and it's a little bit higher. 87% of people will use the same real estate agent that they did the first time, but only 13% do because they don't know who they are. Oh, they were really good, but I don't remember their name, right? And that's on us as professionals in this industry, right? That's on us that they don't remember who we are. And so I think that's really interesting because that ties back to your remember. There's nothing sticky about the relationship because they don't know who they are. They don't remember you. But when you know who people are, you remember the stories. The first thing I remember with you is my friend cheated on me in the business, right? And that becomes its sticky factor that I go, oh, there's somebody that, if I refer, I don't want them to think I cheated on them. So I think that's super, super powerful. So what are you finding? So let's just talk about maybe what you're finding today on, in your own database of people that are moving, these life events that happen, and just because someone isn't moving, I don't really want to go after 10%. I'm going to go through my whole database, and I call it my community because it's just a mindset shift, but I don't want to go through my whole community and think that I just want to find the 10% because every person in there knows someone who's going to move or will have to move, right? So the opportunities are endless. So what are some of the strategies that you use? I know you have some software, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but what are some of the strategies that you're using in today's world where there's not much to say because everybody's rate's low and yada, yada, and the election's coming and we're all holding off. We don't really want to make a move. And we're hearing this, I'll wait till the first of the year. What are some things to light a fire under your database?
Sure. So love the question. You don't need to tell them you're in real estate. You need to remind them, and they'll reach out to you when they're ready. And there's a difference between selling and prospecting versus just serving. I find that I don't really care about the content. I care about the touch. And I like the touch through a multitude of channels because there's a difference between advertising and marketing. And this is where a lot of people get a term I call commission breath because like everyone's always in sales mode. And that's advertising and prospecting. And God bless you. Like you should always be prospecting for business. Those are different systems you'll set up that are lead generation based. What I'm talking about is more marketing, personal branding, and something that's always going on in the background, regardless of whom you're working with or who at the moment. And my goal with every bit of marketing or every message or every touch is not to sell them something. It's to create attention and to serve them something. So mindset shift for marketing starts with that. And once your content becomes more serving versus selling, reminding becomes very easy, right? Now, today I have a post in our social media calendar. I have a post, and this is just an easy way. I don't need to tell everyone I'm in real estate, but I can make a post right today on election day that says, no matter who wins the election, real estate is still a good investment.
Yeah.
That's an easy way for me just to remind everyone while everyone else is taking sides and fighting and arguing and calling each other names. I'm just going to take the middle of the ground approach and just juice the algorithm for engagement. Right. So that's the key. That's where everyone struggles, is how do you constantly talk to your database and the people that you already know without talking about real estate. And that is the key. But you take a multiple channel approach: social media, direct mail, and email consistently.
Yeah, I love it. And I think also phone calls. It's still phone calls. It is still touching base with people. People want to know what's going on. And we talk about this a lot, and maybe you can speak to it as well. A lot of my clients will say, I need a script, I need a script. Well, the best script is the truth. That's what I always say. The best
How
script.
do you script someone on a conversation you don't know you're going to have yet?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But I do these things called catchphrases, but nonetheless, but I think that when people are, trying to think about the content, or, what do I want to be talking to people about? They've said to me, I just feel salesy. I don't know what to say. I need a script. I don't want them to think I'm calling and trying to be salesy. And I go, well, are you calling to be salesy? Are you trying to get a lead from the phone call? Are you trying to get an opportunity because they're different? Or are you simply touching base because you truly care about your clients and you want to steal some brain cells? So what are your thoughts about this, touching base piece? We're talking about clients right now, and then I'll talk about partners here in a minute, but about touching base with your clients and, to not feel salesy. And I love that you say service. I've always said that it's a service call, not a sales call. How dare you not call them and offer your services?
So here's why you have to do this. First is that anyone who's ever invested with a financial planner before, the second you invest, they disappear. The feeling that you get in your stomach is the exact same feeling you do to your database or your past clients when you don't consistently communicate with them. So that's why we do this. And if you don't know the why first, I'll never do the next part. But yeah, I recommend at least one phone call to everybody in your database a year. And I used to do them right about this time in the holidays. Now, the database, though, that we're talking about, just to be clear, though, is the database of people you'd invite to your wedding or funeral. Anyone that you would be extremely angry to learn that I sold them a house, not necessarily you. Those are the people that you need to be touching. And the way that I would do this, honestly, so I didn't sell, is I used to have client parties. Yeah. So I would just invite them to my client party. And it was a way for me to touch base. And that was the excuse just to get on the phone and just be like, hey, and by the way, how are the kids doing? Yeah, I'm having a party. I invite them. It's how I build all databases. And at the party, I would have them give me their direct mail address so I could start farming them, right? Like, so it's just a matter of there's always an excuse to touch base, but the excuse should never be within the first 5 seconds. Hey, do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell real estate?
Right. The reason I'm calling is to get some leads from you. What do you have?
Yes. No, I hate that. I have a client right now. We're coaching her through. She's 72, 73 years old, never been on video on social media, but her whole brand is based upon her and her dog. Like, they're so cute now on social. She's creating videos and content. She's getting all this engagement, and she's never just known what to do for this exact reason we're talking about. So what she does every year, she's having a huge pie event in her office. And this pie event has turned into like this whole thing. Like, there's about 4 videos done around it. Yeah, she sent out an email. She sent out a direct mail invite, and she has 238 pies. Every one of those people that come in, she's going to have a photo with. Then she's going to create a whole collective reel after that. And every single image or piece of content that she'll create over this pie event will remind people she's in real estate without her saying it. Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah. I love the client events. I used to do those as well. So did you read 7 Levels of Communication by Michael J. Mayer? Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good friend of mine. I love his
forward to my book because I love that whole concept, because he does have a rotation of everything is based around a quarter to have a client event, follow through with the client event, start another client event, right? And so many people have gotten away from that. I've noticed there aren't as many client events, and maybe that'll change, coming soon, because I think COVID screwed it all up, and now, maybe it'll change a little bit. All right, let's talk about current.
That's an opportunity, though. When everyone's on Zoom, like, get in person. Like, I think there's a huge opportunity. Like, I am starving for human interaction personally. Yeah. And I was just telling someone this the other day. Like, I'm like, dude, what's your culture like? What are you guys doing there? Like, do you guys like see each other? Like, dude, like get in person. That could be your one thing that makes you so different.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember, but we had a pre-call. You and I had a pre-call, and you were like, I didn't know if it was supposed to be on Zoom or a call. And I go, nope, it's just a phone call because I just don't want to sit in front of my computer all day, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just one little movement away. But I want to talk about a little bit about content and some thoughts that you have around content. Now, I've always felt that I'm experiencing content every day because I'm being asked questions every day about
Sure.
everything, right? So that becomes content. I also think current events become content. But what are some ideas that you have on the type of content that can be created to remind people that you are in the industry that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, what's working the best right now are just React videos, 60 seconds or less, and just doing them on Reels. And just literally, like, look, I put one up yesterday that was just written August or November 4th, and by the New York Post came out with an article that said something along the lines of inventory levels are back to 2019 levels. So I'm going to take that article, I'm going to put it, I'm going to comment on it, and I'm just going to simply remind people that I'm in real estate. So reporting real estate news, I love that idea. I think you could do those like, and just let's just break down the content calendar to really walk them through this because every month is only 30 days.
Yeah.
So if you were to pick 4 articles a month, just to react to those 4 articles, now you have a piece of content for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And
Yeah.
it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and it's your spin on it, your spin on the article. And especially if you find an article that has a lot of traction and noise,
Yes.
repurposing, downloading it, repurposing that article and giving credit where credit's due, but
Right.
those are great. Do you use Fred by any chance?
No.
Okay.
I've written like thousands of scripts, so I have a gigantic library of basically anything you'd ever talk about in real
Yeah.
estate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I
So I
was
just
curious. So let me just
repurpose
say
it.
what that is because I said it, and now the person who's
Sure.
listening is going, okay, now what's that? What's that? It's a little app called Fred, and it's the Federal Reserve Economic whatever. I can't think what the D stands for, but it's probably economic development. But Fred has a lot of charts that come out. They are the chart people. If you've ever seen anyone doing charts, that's where they come from. So you can look at, hey, employment's at historical lows, employment's at
Oh, that's cool.
historical highs, new build starts are up, they're down, every kind of chart you can ever imagine. There's another app called Feedly, Feedly, Feedly. And subscribe to this and say, I want every article on real estate, building homes, land, mortgage, rates. You can put any topic, kitty cats, because you like kitty cats, whatever topic you want, and it will feed you every article that's written across the United States or across the world, every article that's written about it so that you can repurpose that as well. So I
That's
just wanted to
awesome.
share.
Yeah, I didn't know about Fred. Fred sounds amazing. That's like I'm gonna go in there after the
Oh my
show.
gosh, you're going to have
Yeah,
all the data you need. Right?
perfect.
All the data you need for doing that. Yeah. So I love that you're, just so telling people what you do for real estate. So let's get down to nitty gritty. Let's talk about how does your video come across? Hey, everybody, it's me. Or hey, I want to share a video, and don't forget, I want to help you with your real estate. Walk us through exactly what
Sure.
you do so that we're not selling but reminding.
Yeah. So let's just go through a sample video script, and I'll relay it the easiest way I teach it and train it. The best person on video is just a storyteller. So go back to grade school and just think about how your teacher told you to write your essays. So for an example, my daughter's writing essays and she comes home with another one every week. And literally they have my script guideline. Now,
Right.
yeah, it's the same thing. And I teach Chloe this, and I'm like, hey, well, here's your hook. Here's your attention getter. So
Yeah.
the worst thing you could do with every video is start out with, hi, my name is blank, 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 blank. Because the first 7 seconds, it's like 76% of people will decide whether or not they're going to watch the rest of it. So they either bounce or they're not. So your hook needs to do something that's going to be WIFM radio. What's in it for me? It's got to
Yeah.
get their attention. So the very first line is going to be your hook.
Yeah.
The next part of your script is going to be the problem. And then there's going to be the promise. So if you want to give me a topic, then I'll just make up a script really quick. It'd be easier for me to
Oh
script it
yeah.
through
No,
there.
well, just do the
It'd be-
election because today's
Oh,
election.
perfect. So
Yeah.
here's a
Yeah.
perfect one. Now, is the real estate market going to pick up or decrease after today's election? Cut. Put the
That's a
video on
hook.
pause. Right. There's my hook. Now my problem is going to be, Well, because if Kamala wins, one side is saying that this is going to happen. But then if Trump wins, then a whole nother side of this is going to happen. Well, something just got released that you're going to want to hear about. Cut, little teaser. There's my promise or my problem. Over the next minute or so, I'm going to show you exactly what that is and tell you blah, 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 blah. Blank.
Yeah. Cool.
Now, if you're doing a long form video, then I would do my intro. But on short form, you don't need your intro because it's going out to people you already know. So you cut and go right to the point. Now, hook, problem, promise, intro, if applicable, and then you have your body. Go back to English teacher lessons, right? Right. Body has how many points? How many paragraphs? 3, Mike. You got to have 3 paragraphs in your body. So point 1's always, why is this important to hear you? Point 2 is, here's what you need to do about it. Point 3 is, look, I've already done this before.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's basically your call to action, you know, outside of an essay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically the call to action. I think that's something that a lot of people fail to do is they're like, hey, you know, the election and whatever way it's going to go and blah, 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 blah. And so hope this information was helpful.
Yeah.
Hope and pray, right? It's not that call to action isn't, you know, so this is what I've done. I've been through 8 cycles like this. I've been through 12 cycles like this. So if you want more information,
that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Look, I've been through 5 different election cycles. However, you know, and then if you want to know exactly what I believe in here, right, you might want to call me and I'll PM you because I don't know if it's politically correct. Right. Like that's a perfect way to end it, right?
Right. That's exactly it.
You'd probably blow up on your DMs.
Yeah. Yeah. No question. Okay. So now, you know, everybody knows a little bit more about content, about, you know, just increasing the awareness of what questions you get, what topics are hot for you, what you read. We read a lot, right? We read a lot. We see a lot on the news. And they just don't take that next step to say, hey, this could be content. It's just, okay, saw that on the news, employment's up, employment's down, this happened, that happened. But putting that out there to share, you know, so that you're dissecting it for people and making it simple, right? Because most people don't understand Fed funds. Most people don't understand half the stuff that's out there, right? And so as professionals, we need to do that.
Zillow, Trulia, any of these websites have already done the homework for us. Like people, whether you're not even in the market, still look at houses for sale, guys. So like just take picture of cool stuff you see during the course of your day. It's as simple as that, and then analyze it. So is this the best view you see in San Diego? That video will get eyeballs that'll say, hey, and every one of those eyeballs, you're just reiterating. And here's the thing, like with content, that so many people, it is the long game. And you mentioned it earlier. This is like the hare versus the tortoise. Who won the race?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The tortoise. Mine, steady and slow, right? Steady and slow, just kept consistent all the way through. And that's what happens with content creation around your personal brand. No, it's not going to happen tomorrow. No, it's probably not going to happen next week. But I promise you that if you stay consistent on social media and you literally farm the relationships you have, they'll show up for you unless they don't personally like you. I've never seen it not work because people love each other. They support each other. Even if you're not good at real estate, they'll still refer you business because they like you as a person.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just how it is.
That's because of the know who you are. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's transfer away from the social media stuff that we were just saying in the beginning is not the end all be all. Right? Yeah. So let's talk about those really strong, hardcore relationships and why it is that, from your perspective, that people are doing one-to-ones. How do I say it? They're doing one and done instead of one-to-ones and one-to-ones and one-to-ones because they've shown up and thrown up and there's nothing left to talk about. So now they're stuck. So better not to do one than to show up that way. So what's your perspective on how these relationships go? And if you wouldn't mind, can you speak also from the perspective of being a realtor when a loan officer calls and says, I want to meet you and see if we're a good fit, which I can't stand.
Creepy loan officer syndrome? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Creepy loan officer.
It's one of my favorite blogs I ever wrote on my old website back in the day. But it was on how to not be a creepy loan officer.
Yeah.
And it's the same way I market my database. So when we're talking about agent attraction, the concept here is the same, you guys. Okay. Yeah, so just break that down. You pick your audience. These are the people responsible for giving you business. All right. If you're in lending, it's your own sphere of influence, and real estate agents, right? And real estate agents, generally their sphere of influence, but you get the audience first, right? Then we farm them with content, social media, direct mail, email. That's it. that group of people end up knowing whom you are. So that concept stays the same. The difference in agent attraction sort of learned accidentally in 2011 when we were doing a lot of short sales. And I also started a brokerage at that time. And I hate recruiting agents, can't stand it. Like, hey, dude, I'm the best broker ever. Why don't you come join my office? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just slimy. I don't want to talk someone into it. Like, it's the same thing for lenders. Lenders would be calling me and being like, hey, let's go off to, let's go do coffee and let's go check out my latest program. I'm like, dude, I have better things to do. Like, I don't care about your coffee rates. I know you're going to do a good job by your clients. That's your fiduciary duty. Like, that's not a USP, right? It's not a unique selling
unique
proposition.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was that we just started having, I was doing a lot of speaking at that time. And so we started having training events, and we just get up there and just share everything we knew. I'd give away everything. I'd show them exactly how we were processing short sales. I showed them exactly the strategies. I didn't hold anything back. And what I end up finding out is that the people who show up to training events, they're literally raising their hand because you're doing their job that their broker isn't. And those are the most ripe for agent attraction. So we talk about getting back in-person meetings. That is the ultimate time. And right now in this type of environment, agents are looking for leadership left and right. And whomever is having all of these local events, they're winning. And that model has been proven by every MLM company from EXP to Real. Every single one of them. What are they doing? What's the number one thing that they're doing? They're having live events. They're inviting agents out there. They're meeting them. They're breaking bread, forming relationships. Because that's where the advantage is like when you just lead by example and you teach people, they'll come to you, you know. And I think if you lead them, especially right now, I know I'm seeing it in our, I'm seeing it firsthand, but this is probably one of the best times to recruit and attract agents and form new relationships. It's very difficult when the market's doing very well, because everyone doesn't think they need help. But when they do, this is when people clean house.
Yeah. And I think you should always be a talent scout. I mean, always being a talent scout in your business, not when you need it, but all the time. I mean, could you imagine, hey, we had 3 people get injured on the field. So now I'm going to go out and I'm going to go do some talent scouting in the middle of the game. Right? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I think we always need to be, doing that. Okay. So I want to talk about training. And so you're talking about training and helping some, real estate agents. Let's talk about the loan officer. At this particular time, in this market, interest rates are high, the inventories, it's the same old. It's kind of just a groundhog day of conversations with everyone lately.
Sure.
And, what's something that you've seen a loan officer do, or something that you wish they would do, that would help you or your team, because you have a brokerage. So your team, what would be something that would be great right now?
So ultimately, the best thing that anyone could do in any business is help the person you want to generate business from generate more business themselves. And as long as you can do that, you're going to win no matter what. So if we're talking about a mortgage broker, the one thing that all real estate brokers and teams are struggling with now is production. Things have gone down. So how do you help them in that way? It's crazy the amount of like brokerages and team leaders that don't have time for training their agents, but they would love someone to come on in there and do it for them. I know so many lenders that are happy to take up that role and navigate that angle.
Interesting. But I don't think they're asking right now. I don't think lenders are asking.
No, but no one was listening. And that's my point, is that nobody listens in a busy market, but right now they are. And almost anyone is willing to entertain anything that's going to be done a little bit different. I think the news with the NAR lawsuit is tremendous opportunity for lenders in particular. I see a lot of lenders getting licensed right now. I wrote a post that said, every lender just became a buyer's agent.
Wow. Well, you're in California, so that's normal for you guys to have both pieces. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of when there's turmoil and there's paradigm shifts, there's just all kinds of just different opportunities that will pop up, but it's going to require someone doing something a little bit different.
Yeah. And I think looking outside of the box too, and you and I talked about, I don't know. I have spoken so many times in the last week. I don't remember who I said to what. But this whole concept of leads drives me nuts. You know, everybody, I've got this line of questioning that I do with all my partners, And one of the questions that I have is, who would you like to be connected with? Well, quite frankly, the answer to all the questions could be a lead from you, a lead from you, a lead from you, a lead from you, right? They could all be that, but that's not the question. The question is, the one I want to talk about is, who would you like to be connected with to help move your business forward? It's not a lead from me. It's an opportunity. And so I've changed my entire verbiage around opportunities. I'm looking for opportunities. You being on this podcast is an opportunity for you to maybe attract more real estate agents that are listening, or a mortgage person listening that says, hey, Bobby, I just listened to this. You might want to go talk to him, right? And so opportunities are leads, referrals, speaking, presenting, training, open houses, events, you name it, that's an opportunity. And if we're so shallow that all we think about is leads, we are missing, you said it, how much are you leaving on the table?
Most times on the leads too, they won't even, that model's difficult, like buy them leads, because they don't convert them anyways. And then you end up throwing your money, and then you have two angry people. They tell you the leads suck. You're telling them they're good. The rep from Zillow's telling you they're fantastic. And like, you don't know who to point the fingers. I've never seen it.
And then they ghost, right? The people ghost. And, they only wanted to look at that one house. And I had an agent who bought leads. And she one year, she gave me 67 leads, and we closed 0 loans, 0 business. And I finally went to her, I put my big girl panties on. I went to her and I said, I call it the Savannah syndrome, because her name was Savannah. And I said, Savannah, I've been working like a dog, thinking you're an A player with me because I get leads all the time and everything, but I realize they're not going anywhere. And what are you saying to them? And she said, well, I just tell them, call my lender, Jen. And I said, okay, can you qualify the lead for me? Oh, no, I don't qualify. I said, no, I'm not asking you to qualify the loan. I'm saying qualify the lead. Ask them a few more questions. So the next year, she said, okay, that's fine. I get it. So I kind of coached her through that. And I only got 7 referrals. But guess what? We closed 5. And at first, of course, I was, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Oh, she doesn't like me. I approached her about this. Right. Yeah. But I learned through that. And I think that your point is so good about, just focusing on the relationship and not on the mechanics.
Yeah, there's so always win
mechanics out there. There's so much of that. I love that you're saying that. Okay, what kind of topics are realtors looking for right now besides NAR? Got the NAR thing going on, which I think you guys should be the expert on, but it's okay.
Listing. I focus on listings all day, because if anyone that sees the writing on the wall, that's where you're going to put the focus in terms of your ads dollars, your monies. And the reason for that is you can't guarantee that you're going to be paid a buyer's agency commission anymore. So you can't guarantee the ROI and that ad spend. So I think everything's going to go towards listings. If I was a lender right now, I'd love the niche. I see a lot of people doing this of niching down into divorce and into distressed and creating solutions for that. That can easily be a value add, because there's 2 ways to get agents. You either A, get them to do more business, or B, you create a service that makes them look really good. Yeah. And you can do that through the service that you have, but just being a general lender, everyone's a general lender. Like, you got to niche down. So I love the divorce angle, because that's a huge market to serve, and those are listing leads potentially. So like, if you could introduce your agents to a divorce attorney that you have formed a relationship with, you now also have that realtor for life.
Right. And then they can do the buyer PB or the BPL
Correct.
and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. I was a CDLP. I was a certified divorce lending. In fact, I did all the training for them for loan officers.
Oh, I'm going to talk to you about something when we wrap up this podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. But no, I love that. And it's 2-sided, you get both sides, and it's great if your real estate agent becomes a certified divorce real estate agent as well. Because those certifications are out there. Yeah. That point of, selling everything to everybody versus selling nothing to no one, right? Because that's what happens. You sell everything to everybody, you sell nothing to no one. And I think that that's really good. Yeah. Okay. So niching down, helping everybody with listings. And I love helping with listings. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. And so many loan officers don't do that. So, hey, listen, if you're listening and you don't know how to do listings, you got to call me, because I've got a whole program based around this. It's not a program. I don't want to say it. I've just got I wrote up a big thing about listings years ago, and I call it business booster program. So we go boost the business of realtors. But okay, so what else? Let's talk about the suite, right? The suite assist that you have. Let's talk about that particular program and what that brings to real estate agents, so that a loan officer listening could take this to their agent and say, guess what? I found something for you. And that's value add.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they have we have an agent individual user version, then we have a team or brokerage model enterprise type version. So when I see most lenders is the same marketing an agent uses to generate business, a lender can do the exact same thing. Like as a matter of fact, the lender actually gets more likely to get first contact by a potential buyer or seller, because they're looking at their numbers before they're getting in the car and looking at houses. So if you become top of mind, the same thing that we have realtors do is the same way a lender markets their business for the same amount of referrals. And then that puts you in a driver's seat, so you can hand out referrals versus just take them, which is always a better position.
Absolutely.
To be in. But when we have brokerages that like attracting agents, Sweet Assist is just a white labeled cloud-based solution that you could 100% build an agent membership site in. And what it is the place that you could put in all your training, all your marketing materials. And it's basically a cloud-based agent resource center. We have a print center that your agents can go ahead and hit everything from print to demand, and you could co-list branding and do MLS stuff. And it has all the features of Referral Suite in it that helps their agents market their database 70 times a year, so they can generate referral business. So we partner with lenders in that. They essentially white label our platform as their own, and we help them on the back end, and they go out and create more agent relationships while we coach them for them. So
yeah, I love that. Okay, so does that include open houses too? Is that part of it? Yeah, where everybody.
Yeah, you could do signage, you could order postcards, you could do just listed, just sold, anything and all above.
Housewarming parties, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
All of it. So what makes that different from some of the other things that are out there and available?
Our biggest competitor is probably Go High Level. It's like a Go High Level platform for real estate. So it's just a white labeled cloud-based solution that you can build as your own and have an extreme value add with your agents that you serve. So it gives them all the tools for marketing and marketing their database and whatnot to utilize. And it's just a value add to serve your agents.
Is this in, how do I want to say, a piggyback to or in tandem with what Remax might offer to an agent, what another, EXP might offer to their agents in addition?
It's very similar to like what an LPT or an EXP would offer to their agents. You're just able to do the same thing now without being part of those brokerages as your own value add. So yeah, exactly. It's the exact same thing that a brokerage uses to attract their own agents.
That's awesome. And sometimes what I want to make sure that everybody understands is that a lot of agents don't use the services that are inside of their companies because they're complex, they're too generic. And look, we know as lenders, when your company sends out stuff to people and posts, it's very generic. Everybody in your company is sending that same thing. So they're looking for something that's a little different, something they customize and personalize, for working with them. Okay. And so we'll have a link for that as well so that people can get information on it. Let's talk about the market as we finish up our time together. So here we are, it's election day, right? And as we're recording this, we only have one known entity that has come in, a town that has 6 people and they've already voted and the results are in, right? And it was split 50-50. What do you think is going to happen either way? I think there's a certain amount of release that's going to happen because the election's over, regardless of who wins. But if you have, a crystal ball for this, or you have some, insight on this, what do you think we're headed for in the coming months and to start off 2025?
I think we're headed for either way. I think it's going to be a somewhat of a distressed market in terms of over inventory levels, people not receiving as much as what they're used to. The biggest challenge is going to be teaching sellers their house isn't worth what it is or what they think it is. Perhaps might be a big one. Overcoming the affordability, though, is the number one issue facing it. So I think that's going to go in two totally different ways based on who wins the election. And the factor to look at, I believe, is just buyer affordability.
Yeah.
I just did a video last month about what the market says about what interest rate will get you back in the market, and that number was 5.5%, was where 48% or something like that of people would get back into the market, but it was like 60 or 70% would get in if it was below 5. So that right off the bat, I think it's just an affordability issue, because look, everyone wants to own a house. Like, there's nothing wrong. When the interest rates are affordable, people will go out and buy, but when they can't afford them, then I think there's a stalemate. Now, I live in a market that's like, I don't know who the hell's buying these houses around here.
Right.
I'm in San Diego, and I'm just
Right.
like one just sold on my block. I'm like, what? What do you?
Yeah. And everybody's
then
wondering, could we afford our own house now?
This is the other side of it, and then you see that, because if you do look at economic factors, they're all backwards right now.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you're following, whether it's the bond market or this. So I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen, but here's what I know is going to happen no matter what. That the combination of 7% interest rates, an election, a NAR lawsuit, and a transformation of a buyer's into a seller's market is a giant opportunity for you to get the most amount of eyeballs, because the same thing happened during COVID. And whoever is the loudest over the next 3 to 6 months, mark my words, will be the next local realtor, lender, celebrity in their markets, because it happened with COVID. It happened again during the interest rate shift of 18 months ago, give or take. And it's whoever's the loudest, which just shows us, you guys, this is a popularity contest. So the loudest one will win, while a lot of people, I think, will get phased out, which isn't a bad thing for the industry. I think it needs to clean up. It needs to correct. It needs to clean up.
This reminds me of 2019, in the winter of 2019, everybody I was talking to, realtors, loan officers, everybody was saying, I don't know if I can do this. I want to get out of the market. And then COVID came and they went, hallelujah. Right. But the market gave it to them, which is fine. I think the market will give a certain amount, but don't leave any money on the table. I always say, be ready for when the when happens. And don't leave any money on the table. Be ready so that you can get every aspect of the market, instead of just a linear approach of, well, everybody who's in front of me, I'll get. I think you bring up a really good point with home affordability, because values have increased so much. It has to be a low rate like that, even though I know as lenders, we say, hey, in the history of lending, by the way, you can find that on Fred, in the history of lending, interest rates have been, at X. And I don't know what that is right now, because I'm not in the lending business anymore. Right. But interest rates are at X. And so it's unrealistic to think that we could go down to 5.5. But the thing is, we have to be able to. Otherwise, we're going to see price drops.
Yeah, it's just too expensive. But that's what you look for. But be very loud, focus on sellers.
Okay, so if I were to ask you what you're doing right now, you're going to tell me you're being loud.
Yeah, I'm putting together a listing model specifically that goes directly and combines lawyers and realtors for distressed properties.
Awesome.
So I'm going heavy into it.
They're coming because foreclosures are up, and I think we're going to see more of them coming in. As a real estate investor, there's more opportunities for me out there right now, and I'm getting ready for when the win happens too. So I love that, you're doing all of those pieces. Okay, so let's recap just a little bit on this. So number one is get your content out there, look at current market trends, right? Question and answer. What else am I missing? I'm missing something that you said.
Be loud. Own your database. You have to own your database no matter what the market does, because that will always be recession proof. It'll provide for you in times of good and bad. And it's your baseline of this business. You might not get rich off of it, but you will be consistent. And the second you start avoiding peaks and valleys is the second you can actually start building something.
Yeah. And then, so that's on social media. So you're going to do be loud, do the videos, do the content, read the articles, go get Feedly, go get Fred, whatever you need to do that. And then shifting, making sure that your clients know that you're still there and you care, right? I'm still here and I'm taking care of you, touching base with your clients and using the holidays as a basis for saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start there. And I know there's tons of depth that you have, to all this, but on the surface, that's what you're saying to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And, with the relationships, maybe consider some training. Start putting some training together and some topics, ask people, what are the topics you're looking for? What are the things you're looking for? And let me go in and do that. And maybe do that with teams. Maybe instead of going to the broker, go to the team leads and do something like that. Getting ready for when the when happens, I would say know your numbers and do your homework and make sure that you know where the affordability factor is for clients. Know when they want to be triggered, when you can make that phone call to them, having a call to action in everything that you do. Is there anything I've missed that you've talked about? This is all your talk. I'm just recapping.
No, that's it. Niche down, be very loud on your database, consistently touch them 60 plus times a year, and niche down and focus on what you want to prospect with. It's all relationship based, but focus on sellers and listings and own your database.
Yeah.
General rule, market your database, prospect your niche.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that. Market your database and prospect your niche. Yeah. And your database is already there. I call it acres of diamonds, right? You're already standing on them.
Yeah.
Do something with them instead of crunching them, instead of walking across them and crunching them, right? They're right there for the taking. I love it. Okay. So Mike, one last thing you'd like to leave us with. It can be short, it can be long. What would you like to leave us with? What's on your mind? You say, I want to get this one thing out because Jen hasn't asked.
Yeah. I'm just going to look, it's not your job. It's not their job to remember what you do for a living, but it is your job to remind them. And if you believe that you're the best lender, real estate agent, investor, whatever practice area you're in, if you believe you're the right person for the job, I'm hoping 100% of you answered yes. Well, then it becomes their obligation or your obligation to let the world know about it and know you're not being shady, know you're not being annoying because you are there to serve. So as long as you believe you're the best person for the job, there's no reason that you have to say, oh, what are they going to say about me? What am I going to do? Oh, I can't do this. Someone's going to think this. Someone's going to think that. No, you have a job to do, and that is your job to let the world know. Otherwise, how are you going to help them?
Yeah, beautiful.
That's the mindset.
Yeah. Oh, it totally is. Yeah. And what a great way to change that mindset through the holidays that we're experiencing right as we start stepping into 2025. So with that, Mike, thank you so much. And again, we'll have the link for Sweet Assist for everybody. We'll have the links and so you can check out that information as well. And I again appreciate everything, Mike. I love what you're doing. And I love that it's coming from you. And please don't take this the wrong way. I love that it's coming from you as a real estate agent, because normally the conversation I'm having is with another lender. So this is exciting to hear from you. And I love that you're out there, chirping this to the world. So thank you so much for being a guest today. I sure appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I hope you guys got something out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So remember, we've given you some action items. So go back and listen to this a little slower, take some action items. If you didn't know what to do today, now you know what to do, right? Now you have something to do. And again, I want to thank you for listening into Mortgage Lending Mastery. And hey, guess what? In the next couple of episodes, we're going to be celebrating our 14th birthday with Mortgage Lending Mastery. So again, thank you so much for supporting us, and we'll catch you on the next episode. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That was fun.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Be sure to subscribe to hear more sales tips, ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you with your personal and professional growth to multiply your results in record time. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Wanting more beyond the podcast? Join our Mortgage Lending Mastery membership community, where you will find extended interviews with our favorite guests, weekly training, tips, and insider secrets, fireside chats with Jen, free content, meet, share, and collaborate with other members, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about this exclusive content. Mortgage Lending Mastery is an Industry Syndicate charter podcast. Industry Syndicate is the first podcast network specifically for the mortgage and real estate industries. Get the Industry Syndicate app in the App Store or Google Play today.